Today we are doing a video on the most complex war games, my top 10 complex war games. Now, there are so many games out there that take forever to learn and you can never truly master and things like that. This doesn't mean that these are bad games or anything like that. These are actually some really great games. Especially, the top couple of games here are legendary. The thing is the complexity. Can you wrap your head around it right off the bat? Does it need more than a couple plays? Is it so huge and so much going on that you're going to be investing a ton of time? Or were there new concepts that came and it was kind of hard to grasp after being used to so many different things and so forth and so on? So without further ado, let's take a look at my top 10 most complex games. At number 10 is The Next War. This came out in 1978. It runs around about 360 minutes. That's on the lesser side, believe me. SPI game. Now, SPI games are notorious for very tough manuals. But for some reason, they are some of the most sought after games still. I mean, I have a ton of SPI games. I miss that company and I miss everything, but The Next War, between the chemical warfare, trying to figure out stuff like that and just trying to really get this to go. It really does take quite a few plays to try to get this game down. For me, it was one of the toughest games and it always stuck with me. At number 9 is a decisions game, and that is War in the Pacific with almost 9,000 counters. Whew. This is a huge game, and War in the Pacific I struggled with, and I still do to this day. I always walk by it over there and I kind of go, maybe I should try to, and then just keep going. Very, very, very tough game to wrap around. And it was very difficult for me at least. At number 8, another SPI game, and that's Operational Combat. It came out in 1973. Those older games were very, very deep and very, very complex. This one here is just massive, and just was very, very tough to get through. Again, I think it's the rule book. There's a lot going on in it, and while a good game, very, very tough. Another designer decisions game, Totaler Krieg. Now this one takes the whole war. I mean, the entire war. You could play the whole war from start to finish with this bad boy, and I think it's best played in sections, pretty much. A really, really tough game to get through. Again, I don't know what it is with some of the decision games. They're another one that I've always had some difficulty with the manuals, them in SPI. But I do love war games, and I will keep on plugging away at these. Totaler Krieg definitely is more than a one-player game for sure, but you are going to invest some time in it. And it is a game that you are, the best way to put it, you're going to invest some time, and there's a lot going on. At number 6 is a game from Avalon Hill that makes it here, and that is Advanced Third Reich. Now this one is noted to go anywhere from 2,000 to 2,480 hours. That was on BGG, by the way. Advanced Third Reich became World at War. It got an update, got cleaned up a bit. This is huge. This is huge, and you are investing a lifetime in this game. But you know, I like those kind of games. I really, really do. I wish I had more people to play them with. I love them, and I try to do it myself, which means it could take up to 5,000 hours, and I'll never get through it, unfortunately. But these are just fantastic, historical, and legendary games. At number 5 is World in Flames. Now this one's another one that you are going to invest some time into. 6,000 hours, very high difficulty, complexity level, 5 maps, and just tons of great strategy. You're going to have a ton of great strategy. This, you want to break up into smaller sections as well, and play it out. This is a very complex game, and you really have to just take your time with it. But I'm telling you, it is a phenomenal game at that. World in Flames. That's a long one. I'd like to meet the group that's still playing that, because I'm sure there are some people. And number 4 is not a really hard game, but I think when it came out, it introduced some new concepts that made it hard for me, and that's Napoleons Triumph at number 4. It introduced new concepts, and I had it took a couple plays to really wrap my head around it. And I could say that with World of Flames and Total Krieger, that I really had a hard time wrapping my head around it, around some of the concepts. It doesn't make it a bad game or any. None of these are bad games in my mind. I really like them, but these are very high complexity games. And number 4, Napoleon Triumph. While the complexity is not there, the new concepts made it very tough for me to wrap my head around it. At number 3 is Campaign for North Africa. Another SBI game. This, you want to talk about massive. It's a 10-foot map. A 10-foot map. I mean, really? Whew. And I think it was 18,000 counters, if I'm not correct, on top of it. And add in the complexity of it and everything that's going on. Beautiful beyond human belief. And, you know, getting it out and just going, wow, look at that. I mean, that's just amazing. And then playing it and trying to, the complexity of it and the beauty and the strategic level of it. It's a hard game, but well worth it if you can get it down. I'm telling you, this is something special, and to this day is one of the most always talked about as being one of the most complex games out there for wargaming. So at number 3, Campaign for North Africa. See if you can get a copy. I don't think you will be disappointed, but you're going to pay for it for sure. And number 2, believe it or not, is probably everybody's number 1, but I'm gonna explain why this is at number 2, and that's Advanced Squad Leader. First of all, let's face it, this game is massive, and it is glorious, and it has one of the greatest followings in wargaming history. I mean, there are groups, there are clubs, there are conventions built around this fantastic, wonderful game, which is a tremendous experience. But in order to play the full game, it takes a lot. And a lot of people will only play the infantry level stuff. And then the expansions on top of it, Beyond Valor and Rising Sun, you know, all those fantastic and unbelievable sets that you get, that you're going to probably pay about $100 a piece. The thing that the reason I bring this down is that there are actual starter kits out there for this game. There are starter kits to explain the game. They've came out with smaller expansions. Matter of fact, I have one right. Yeah, starter kit number 1, advanced squad leader. You know, and there's a few of them out there to bring you into the game, to break you into the game, because of the complexity level and how detailed and how fantastic this game is. ASL is a fantastic game, but you are going. I mean, when you have a notebook that's this thick, okay, and I have it, and I will never part with that thing. There's a lot going on there, and I'm telling you, if you have the dedication, find some of these groups that are very passionate about it, because they have played it for so many years that they will sit and take time to bring you into it. It is a very loyal and fantastic group of people, and I really highly suggest that if you haven't tried this, definitely take a shot at it. Don't be intimidated. The people are wonderful and willing to teach, and it's one of the beautiful things about wargaming. My number 1, though, is on a personal level. It came out from 2 different companies, GDW and GRD, which is Game Research Designs and Game Design Workshop, excuse me. And it is the Europa Series. Now, I lumped this whole series, and I'm talking about Scorched Earth. I'm talking about Second Front. I'm talking about Fire in the East, War in the Desert. There were magazines made for this to try to help explain this game. Now, you could play this on a smaller level, but the thing that I always found, and I was talking to an author at Huracan, and he plain and simply said that some of the things were broken in it. And some of these games here, what makes them complex is there are a few things amongst them that are broken, or people feel that are broken. But this, some of the battles were actually broken because of the length of the turn, what it was considered as far as a week in some of the scenarios. And that wasn't enough time for certain things to happen. It was interesting, listen to this gentleman explain it. But I love those games so much, and I did play them, but I will tell you, they are a master series, and it's the reason that it is written the master series. And Grand Europa, which I believe there is a website out there that does have all the rules finally for Grand Europa, where you can take all these games and put them all together. And you want to talk about 10-foot map, a lot bigger, that you could play Grand Europa, the entire theater, through if you wanted to. Good luck with that, and make sure you pack more than a lunch. Make sure you're ready to go for a very long time, because you're going to be back and forth with it. That you're probably going to watch their grandchildren grow. But the Europa series, I always felt, was the most complex games, but I love them. And a matter of fact, I was lucky enough to get 2 sealed copies of them that I put up there along, because I had lost those 2. And even though as complex and as intricate as these games were, there was no way I was going to not have those in my collection along with the rest of these. So, hey, listen, that's just my opinion on the top 10 most complex games. What I would love to hear is what you think. What you feel were the most complex war games that you've ever played, and some of the things that you had problems wrapping your head around, or maybe there's some that I missed that I haven't played, or maybe I just missed on this list. I would love to hear from you guys and hear what you have to say. So until next time, for War and Pieces, it's your old pal Rob saying we will see you soon.